Namaskar students. In this video, we will take another problem on the concept of linear transformation. The problem is, for a linear map G, find a basis and the dimension of kernel and the image of G. So here we have to find out the basis and dimension of both kernel of this linear transformation G as well as the range of this linear transformation G. This linear transformation G is defined from R cube to R square, from three-dimensional space to two-dimensional space. And this is the definition of this involved linear transformation G. Here, this is three-dimensional vector and arbitrary vector of domain vector space, which is R cube. And this is the image, and this is two-dimensional vector. It is in the form of doublet. It is a vector in two-dimensional space R square. After finding the basis and dimension of kernel and range of this linear transformation G, here we have to verify rank nullity theorem. So let us start discussion. Here we are conceiving the given map. So we are conceiving the given linear map G, which is defined from three-dimensional space R cube to two-dimensional space R square. And this is the definition. Firstly, we will be finding basis and dimension of kernel, and then we will be moving towards the basis and dimension of range of linear transformation G. Now, what is kernel? Kernel of linear transformation G is collection of those vectors of domain vector space which map to the zero vector of codomain vector space. So this is the notation for the kernel. So we are considering here the kernel of this linear transformation G, and if we write it in the form of set, we can say that U belongs to kernel if it belongs to domain vector space, which is here R cube, because G is defined from R cube to R square. So this U belongs to R cube, and secondly, it maps to zero vector of codomain vector space, which is R square. We know that the zero vector of two-dimensional vector space R square is this vector, this doublet, where both components are real number zero. So we have taken this particular form of zero vector here, which is the zero vector of two-dimensional space R square. Now, since U belongs to R cube, we have taken U in this particular form. U has three components, x, y, z. U belongs to R cube, and these x, y, and z are the real numbers. Since U belongs to kernel, its image under the linear transformation G will be the zero vector. So we have considered that the image of U under this linear transformation G is a zero vector. Now we will be using this definition here of this linear transformation G. So here, after applying this definition, we will be getting, this is the image of this vector U. This image is in codomain in R square. It is a two-dimensional vector, and since U belongs to kernel, this is equal to, this image is equal to zero vector. Here, these two vectors are equal. When we will compare these two vectors, we will be getting homogeneous system of linear equations in x, y, and z. Unknowns in that homogeneous system of linear equations are x, y, and z. Actually, we are finding here the kernel. We have taken the arbitrary vector of kernel as u, and for finding this u, we need these x, y, z. So from where we will be finding these x, y, z? By solving involved homogeneous system of linear equations. So let us see this homogeneous system of linear equations. By equating this first component x plus y plus z to 0, we are getting this first equation. And by considering this second component, which is 2x plus 2y plus 2z, and equating it to this 0, which is the second component of this 0 vector, we are getting the second equation of this homogeneous system of linear equations. We all know that how to solve homogeneous system of linear equations. So for solving this homogeneous system of linear equations, for checking that whether it is a case of trivial solution or infinite solution, because we are interested in its solutions, we want to find here x, y, z, because once we have x, y, and z, we can write down the vector u, which is the arbitrary vector of kernel. So for solving this homogeneous system of linear equation, let us consider the coefficient matrix. Here the same thing is written. What we are saying here, the set of solutions of homogeneous system of linear equations is kernel of G. It is very clear that when we will be solving this homogeneous system of linear equations, we will be getting x, y, z. And this solution, the set of all solutions that forms a vector space, that is a subspace, that set is actually here the kernel, because this is U and U is belonging to kernel. So the set of solutions which we will be getting after solving this homogeneous system of linear equations is the kernel of linear transformation G. Now we are considering the coefficient matrix so that we can find out here x, y, z. We can find out what is the rank for this coefficient matrix. So we have considered here the coefficient matrix, and we will be reducing it to echelon form. With the help of this one, we can easily make this 2, 0. So with the help of first row, by using scalar 2 with the first row, we can make this 2, 0. So we are using this elementary transformation here. And after applying this elementary transformation, we are getting this new matrix. Clearly, this matrix is an echelon form. Now, from this echelon form, we can read the rank of coefficient matrix. Rank of coefficient matrix is given by number of non-zero rows in its echelon form. Here, in this echelon form, this is non-zero row and this is a zero row. So we have only one non-zero row. So the rank of coefficient matrix is here 1. So R is 1. Now, number of unknowns in this homogeneous system of linear equations are 3. N stands here for the number of unknowns, which are 3. Rank of this coefficient matrix C is 1, which is the number of non-zero rows in the echelon form, which is 1. Now, here, rank is less than number of unknowns. It means this homogeneous system of linear equation has infinite solutions, and the set of all solutions of this homogeneous system of linear equation is kernel. And for finding those infinite solutions, we need to assume some free variables. And the number of free variables which we need to assume here is n minus r. So here n minus r for this particular problem is 2. So we will be assuming here 2 free variables. From this echelon form, we can write the reduced system of linear equation, and that reduced system of linear equation will be having only one equation. And what will be that equation? The coefficient of x is 1, the coefficient of y is 1, the coefficient of z is 1. So what will be that equation? X plus y plus z equal to 0. And here we have written this equation, this. Let us assume 2 free variables. Let us take y as some k1. Y is free to take any value. K1 is any real number. And second free variable which we have assumed here is z. And z is free to take any value k2. K2 is real number. Now, If we put here y as k1 in this equation and z as k2, then we can find out x, and this x will be minus k1 minus k2. So what we have done, we have evaluated the general solution of this homogeneous system of linear equation, that x will be minus k1 minus k2, y will be k1, z will be k2, and it is involving two free variables k1 and k2. So now we can write down the kernel, because we have taken u as an arbitrary vector of the kernel, and this u was of this particular form, and we have obtained here x, y, z. So if I write down the arbitrary vector of the kernel u will be having this particular form. This is our x component, which we have just evaluated as minus k1 minus k2. Y component, this is k1, and this is z, which we have assumed as k2. So this is our kernel. This will be the form of our kernel. And what is this? This is actually the set of solutions of homogeneous system of linear equation which is involved here. Now, our problem is to find the basis and dimension of kernel. This is kernel. We have to find out the basis of this kernel. Here, since two free variables are involved when we are solving this homogeneous system of linear equation, so if we are considering a set of n minus r vectors of this kernel, n minus r vectors of this kernel which are independent, then that collection will form the basis of kernel. So what we will be doing, we will be considering n minus r independent vectors. Why independent vectors? Because we are finding basis, and basis is independent. So we will be finding n minus r vectors, and that too independent, and that collection will form the basis of kernel. So for finding n minus r, here n minus r is 2. So we will be finding two vectors from this kernel which are linearly independent, and that collection, that set of two vectors will be acting as a basis for kernel. Basis will vary depending on the values which we are taking here for these free variables k1 and k2. But we have to find two vectors and they should be independent. So two independent vectors, they will form the basis of this kernel. So for that, we will be taking suitable values of these free variables k1 and k2. We will be giving suitable values to these free variables y and z. We will be taking k1 and k2 some simple values. So here for the first vector, we are considering k1 as real number 1 and k2 as 0. So if this k1 is 1, k2 is 0, this will become minus 1. And we have named this vector as u1, and it will be of this form, and it will belongs to this kernel. Now, for the second vector, we will be taking such values of k1 and k2 that we get a vector independent to the vector u1. So here we have changed these values. Now we are taking k1 as 0 and we are taking here k2 as 1. So k1 is 0, this we have 0. K2 is 1, so this is 1. And this minus k1 minus k2, this will be minus 1. So this vector we have named as u2. It again belongs to kernel. And these two vectors u1, u2, they are linearly independent. So we have two independent vectors with us, which belongs to this kernel. So this collection of two independent vectors, which we have named here as B, this collection will form the basis of kernel. Now, dimension is the number of elements in the basis. As B has two vectors, so the dimension of kernel of linear transformation G is 2. So actually finding kernel or finding basis of kernel, finding dimension of kernel, it actually involves homogeneous system of linear equations. We were getting here homogeneous system of linear equations, and this is the involved homogeneous system of linear equations. For solving this homogeneous system of linear equations, we have assumed n minus r. We have assumed two free variables. So any set having two independent solutions of this involved system, that will act as a basis of kernel. Now let us come to the second part, in which we have to find out the basis of range of this linear transformation G. We have result, and the result is, suppose we have any transformation, say T, which is from vector space U to V. If this U1, U2, say UN, spans the vector space U, this collection of n vectors, if it spans the domain vector space U, then the collection of their images, T of image of U1 under this transformation T, linear transformation T, then this image, and so on, the image of UN, then this collection of images span the range of this linear transformation. This is a notation for range. This collection, this set of images spans range of this linear transformation. So here we will be using the same result. So in this case, we know that basis always spans the vector space. So we are conceiving here this set B1, which is the standard basis of domain vector space. Here, the involved spaces are R cube and R square. G is defined from, in this problem, G is defined from R cube to R square. So if we consider any set which spans this domain vector space R cube, then their images will span range of this linear transformation G. We know that basis spans vector space, so we are considering the usual basis, standard basis of this domain vector space R cube. So this is the standard basis having three vectors, because the dimension of R cube is 3, and these are the vectors. If we write these vectors in the form of matrix, we will be getting identity matrix of order 3. This is the basis of R cube. So it is obvious that these three vectors, they will span R cube. This set B1 will span R cube. Now, if we take the images of these three vectors, then that collection of images of these three vectors, that will span range of this linear transformation G. So let us find out the images of these three vectors under the linear transformation G. So we are saying here the same thing. So the vectors, which are the images of these three vectors, they spans the range of linear transformation G, because here G is a linear map. Now we are finding here the images by using that definition of linear transformation G. G is defined as the G of this x, y, z, this three-dimensional vector. It is given as x plus y plus z and 2 times x plus y plus z. So when we will be using this definition here, we will be getting the images as 1, 2. Second time also we are getting image as ordered pair, this doublet 1, 2. And third time also the image will be 1, 2. It is not necessary that image will be equal. Here in this particular problem, for this particular linear transformation, we are getting all these three images as the same vector, which is ordered pair 1, 2, doublet 1, 2. Now, the collection of images, which is here involving only one vector, it will spans the range of linear transformation G. So we are considering a set B2, which is the set of images, and we have here one vector only, which spans the range of linear transformation G. Now we have the spanning set. We know that if we have spanning set, then from spanning set, how we can find out the basis? For that, we find the maximum number of linearly independent vectors by reducing the involved matrix to its echelon form. But here, since B2 has only one vector and that too is non-zero vector, so it is very clear that B2 is linearly independent. It is spanning and it is also linearly independent. So this B2, which is a singleton set having only one vector, will form the basis of range of linear transformation G. But in case if this set B2 has more than one vector, then from the collection of images, we will be finding maximum number of linearly independent vectors by reducing it to echelon form, and then we will be finding the basis. But here the problem is easy because we have only one vector and that is non-zero. So this set B2 is linearly independent. It spans range of linear transformation G. It is linearly independent. Since both properties of basis are satisfied, so this B2 forms a basis of range of linear transformation G. Now, rank of linear transformation G is dimension of range of linear transformation G. And here, in the basis, we have only one vector. So the dimension will be 1. So the rank of this linear map will be 1. So we have evaluated nullity. We have evaluated the rank. And if I talk about given transformation, which is from R cube to R square, here the domain vector space is R cube. And we know that the dimension of R cube is 3. So we are here verifying rank nullity theorem. We are taking firstly the sum of rank and nullity, that is 2 plus 1. And then we are finding the dimension of domain vector space, which is 3-dimensional space R cube, and its dimension is 3. So we are able to verify here that the dimension of domain vector space 3 is sum of nullity and rank 2 plus 1. It will also be 3. And in this way, we have verified here rank nullity theorem. So if we have to verify rank nullity theorem, we need the basis of both kernel as well as range of linear transformation G. We need nullity, we need rank. And if the sum of nullity and rank is same as the dimension of domain vector space, which is here R cube, in that case, in this way, we can verify rank nullity theorem. Thank you. Have a nice day.